Well, good morning, everyone. I want to underscore a couple of things that the governor said, and that is I get to travel all around the state, and we're talking about this opioid crisis everywhere we go. But Central Florida has moved faster and pulled more people together, and that's what this discussion is all about this morning. So I want to thank Andre for that. Andre, you are a force of nature. It was no accident that you were in the room that day, and it was no accident that we were talking about opioids. When I arrived in Florida 8 years ago, I took over the helm of an insurance company, and we very quickly said, that is something we do, it is not what we are. We are about health solutions. And we made that the focus of our company. And when you shift your focus to that, you change what you're thinking about your purpose is. And we then declared our mission to help people and communities achieve better health. Insurance is a piece of that, but it's much broader than that. And why did we make that shift? We see all around us a healthcare system that is focused on sickness, fixing people after they're in crisis. We didn't see a healthcare system focused on keeping people healthy in the first place, on emphasizing and investing in prevention, and then taking care of people in the right and most effective way when they have needs. That is not an overnight transition. It is a revolution. And it is what we are facing as a country. People can talk about this legislative bill, that legislative action. What's really going on, if you pull yourself back, is a move from focusing on people after they're broken to working on people and working with people to keep them well, about their well-being from the start. So this opioids crisis speaks to us in a lot of ways. First of all, the most acute way is taking care of people when they're in the most dire need. But then it is about the bigger issues. What are the drivers? What is creating this opioid issue in our country? So we looked at a couple of those things collectively with a lot of folks and said, we need to get on the front end of this. As a company, we made a bold stand. We said, OxyContin, no longer on our formulary. First to do that in Florida, and one of the first to do it nationally. So think about OxyContin going from one of the most used drugs to not used at all. And then we were actively involved in limiting prescriptions in Florida to 3 to 5 days. Routinely, dentists and doctors were prescribing 30-day supplies. I personally had a knee surgery, got a 30-day supply. I used 1 day. And that is often the case. We shouldn't have these supplies out there. So we changed that in the state, working with folks in Tallahassee. Let me tell you what that's doing. In Florida Blue, the largest insurer in the state, we have seen a 50% reduction in opioid use through prescriptions. That is a great thing. We're seeing other pain relief medications that are non-addictive go up, and that's the transition we all want to have. The work gets tougher from here. We talked with folks in law enforcement like Sheriff Lima and others, and what we heard was, and shocking to me when I first heard it, that people who were in crisis show up at an emergency room with an overdose, get stabilized, and then go and do it again the same night. Think about that. And that told us that we needed more in this equation. We needed to have peer-to-peer counseling. And so from our foundation, we made a $3 million grant to a variety of players who bring peer-to-peer counseling. Our goal is that when somebody's hitting an emergency room, we've got a counselor on their way, because that's when you really have to take care of somebody in crisis. And I would submit to you, that's what a health solutions company does, not just an insurer. And so we think about our mission very differently than we thought about it just 8 years ago. And we're not all the way there, but we're working with lots of people to help us get there, because we know we don't do that alone, we do it with partners. We do it with people who can provide the counseling. We do it with law enforcement who can tell us what's going on and what they're experiencing. We do it with leaders like the governor who can understand this issue and can move legislation that makes a difference for our community. So I'm here to tell you that everyone is part of this answer. Everyone can help create a different environment, working together to make the environment that folks are finding this desperation, and make that environment better, connect people in a more meaningful way. And we are proud to be part of this effort. And I look forward to hearing the rest of the presentations this morning and working with all of you. We're committed to take this issue on across the entire state, and what's happening here in Central Florida is the example for others to follow. Thank you.